So I'm late a whole week on my period and I might be pregnant. Hey, I'm Janelle Naray. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. God wants me to share my testimony, and here we are. I don't know how to feel right now. I'm on my way to Target to get a pregnancy test. I did not think that this would happen. I did not think that this would be a reality. I am nervous. I've been having those pregnancy symptoms, like I've been very tired and just sleepy, and I've been dizzy, something I never experienced before with any of my pregnancies, but it's a first. And then today I've been nauseous, and I've been nauseous all day. So apart from being very nauseous, that's one of the things that really triggered me, because I don't ever get nauseous unless I'm pregnant. And I'm a whole 6-7 days late, and so we're gonna take a test and see if I'm pregnant. Here we go again. Let's see what these results say. This is why I wish I would have gotten digital. The instructions say, at 3 minutes, read your results window. 2 pink lines in the result window. One line may be lighter than the other. You may get a little bit of that first one, second or third. And based on these results right here, I'm pregnant. I'm in shock. I'm happy. I'm nervous. I know that God does everything on purpose. Things don't happen just by coincidence. I don't believe I'm ready for baby number 5, but we will have to get ready. I don't feel physically fit to have another baby. So the time is now to officially start working out. The time is now to start my business. The time is now to be consistent. The time is now to do everything. There's no time like the present. I thought I was done having kids. And I was satisfied with 4, but God had other plans. I'm nervous to tell my husband. I'm nervous to tell my oldest. I don't want her to be sad or upset about having another sibling. I just don't want her to feel like she's not gonna get the attention that she deserves. And so it's up to me and my husband to continue doing what we're doing and showing her love and spending time with her, just like with all the other siblings, making sure that they all get their quality time in. And so that was one of the reasons why I initially said, okay, we're good at 4. More so because I know what it, takes to have time for them and dedicate time to them. And also, dedicate time to me and my husband and our marriage. And so everything happens for a reason, and I rest in peace in that. We were always very careful up until that one day, that one time. I know exactly when that one time happened to be the time. I have no words. I am just praising God and just, asking him to give me strength and to give me peace, and thanking him in advance, because I don't know the plan for my life, and he does. And so I know that he's always going to give me the best things that I deserve. And so this is one of them. I didn't expect it. August of 2023, not only am I on a healing journey, not only am I on a natural hair sister lock journey, but I am now on a pregnancy journey again. I mean, I live for surprises, but Woo! I didn't expect this surprise. I will be telling my husband tonight, and he's gonna get the surprise of his life tonight. He don't even know it. Oh, wow. Here we are again. First there'll be appointment of pregnancy number 5. I'm excited to see that there's a baby in my belly. And I say that because I've only had positive pregnancy tests, and so this is my first official doc appointment where they'll be able to see and double, triple confirm that there's a baby in me. So I'm excited. This is one of the hardest videos that I ever had to record. The hardest video that I've ever had to record. But God keeps telling me to share my testimony. And one of the reasons why I love creating content and putting content out there is because I know that it can help at least one person, inspire one person. And so I know I'm not the only one who's ever gone through this, but we will share anyway. So on October 1st, Sunday, I experienced a miscarriage and I lost the baby. I was 3 months pregnant. I have 4 kids, 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And they're healthy, they're strong. I've never had to experience a complicated anything with them. God is good. I was super blessed to have a smooth pregnancy for the most part. The first pregnancy was rough, but I was able to have a good pregnancy with all 4 kids. Other than like morning sickness, I didn't experience anything crazy to where I was hospitalized with any of my kids. Not only was the pregnancy smooth, especially after the 2nd trimester, but I had successful births, natural births, no medication, no complications. I had them all natural, and so after 4 or 5 days, I was up and going back to my old routine. And so I say that to say this pregnancy for me is pregnancy number 5. And so my heart always desired a baby number 5, to be honest. But I knew that staying where we were with 4 kids was great because everything was figured out. Calm just turned 1 not too long ago. Soon we'll be potty trained. We won't be starting over. And so we actually have the time to love on our kids. And so to me, everything was perfect. I felt complete. Everything was great. And then when we got the surprise, I was shocked. My heart was happy, but mentally it was hard processing being pregnant again, because when you have a baby, it's granted, yes, it's a blessing, of course. But for me, I was thinking, okay, financially, okay, so I'm gonna start a new job and be pregnant. There were so many things that were going on in my head since I found out I was pregnant. And I think I found out when I was a couple weeks, but in those couple weeks up until I was almost 12 weeks, 3 months, I was still processing it. And it wasn't until I had my first appointment 2 weeks ago at the OB where I saw the baby. I saw the baby move, and I heard the baby's heartbeat that I became so excited, you know? I tell you guys about my kids because I never went through this before. Coping is hard. Before I get into the reality of things, I was doing a lot.
when I was pregnant, working 2 jobs, on the hustle and bustle with the kids and spending time with them and trying to get my me time, but working. I mean, I wasn't doing anything out of the norm. During that time, I had Kam's birthday party, and in that party, everybody was like, you need to sit down, you need to sit down. But that's just me. Like, I was just hosting and making sure everybody was good, and I would sit and eat for a little bit, but then I'd get up and play with the kids and then spend some time with my friends that were there. And I was all over the place, but I wouldn't change anything. I can say that it was a very stressful time for me that weekend because a lot of drama happened. During that period, my energy was off. I was stressed. I was angry, not at the baby, but at what I was dealing with. And I feel like maybe I didn't handle it right. When you're pregnant and you feel a certain type of way, it's important to remember that the baby feels it too. And so the fact that I was working 2 jobs and then the energy and the stress, the party, and I'm still trying to come to terms with the fact that I didn't do it, that I didn't cause it to happen. It's only been 4 days and it comes in waves. I wake up in the middle of the night crying. I can shower, sit in my bed, and it just comes out. And life doesn't stop. Bills don't stop. And so it's like, I have a responsibility. How do I cope and still do what I gotta get done? You know what I mean? I have 4 kids that look up to me, depend on me, you know what I mean? And so for me, I'm just in a space where I have to go back to work. I don't have the luxury of being off for a month, couple months, couple weeks. I don't have that luxury. I was honestly gonna go back to work yesterday, which would have made it 3 days after the loss. And the doctor was like, no, 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 no. And then with my family talking to me and my great friend talking to me, I said, fine, I won't go back this week, but I gotta go back next week. And 10 minutes ago, I was sitting on a couch and I was crying because I was still pregnant. And I knew I had a baby inside of me, and I would talk to the baby and just pray to God for a healthy baby. And I saw my baby move and like wave at me. And I heard the baby's strong heart. So for me, it's very difficult. It's a very difficult time right now. I'm taking it one day at a time. Some things trigger me. Yesterday was the first day that I can actually put the bands that I got in the hospital away, and looking at them would trigger me, trigger these emotions, trigger my sadness, trigger my frustration, trigger my anger. Yesterday, the 3rd day, was the first time that I can pray and ask God those questions I didn't want to ask him. The whys and what happened, and was it my fault? What did I do wrong? All of those questions. Before I talk about the reality and God's role, his hands in this situation, I'm going to talk about what happened. So Sunday was a regular day. I went grocery shopping with the girls, Callie and Kalia, my 2 oldest, and we came home. We cooked a full meal, like stuffed jumbo shells with chicken and cheese, and it was saucy. It was amazing. We had broccoli on the side, Then the dessert was gonna be baking cookies. And so we ate dinner around 8:30, and around 9:30, I went to do the girls' hair after we were all freshened up and showered and stuff. I started cramping up, and they were strong cramps, but I figured they were growth cramps. And I went to the bathroom, had a bowel movement, felt better in a way, even though I was still cramping. And these were just like, it was period cramps. It wasn't like my whole stomach. It was just period cramps in one general area. And so after finishing Callie's hair, I was working on Kalia's hair, and I kept cramping, and I kept cramping to a point where if they laid back on me, I had to push them off of my body because I was really cramping and it hurt. And so I was like, okay, that's odd. But for me, it's like, I have a high pain tolerance. If something's happening, okay, cool, I'm aware, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I gotta get things done. That's how I am. That's how I've always been. And so the second time I felt I had a big urge to use the bathroom, like something was gonna come out as far as like fluid, and I didn't wanna have an accident. I ran to the bathroom. I peed. I didn't see anything. But I sat there because it felt like I was in labor. I was having contractions. They lasted, I believe, like 30 seconds or so, within 30-second intervals. And they were strong. I was like, what the fuck? For me, I was just like processing what is going on right now. Why am I cramping so bad? I didn't put two and two together. And so, after that moment, I said, you know what? Let me start on the cookies. I only had one braid left for Kalia. So I was like, let me put a pause on that, start these cookies, because the batter was unthawed and the oven was on. So I scoop one in the pan. I scoop another in the pan, and my water broke. I was leaking. I was like, what the fuck? Ran to the bathroom, pulled down my underwear, and I started bleeding. It was pink at first, and then it became bright red. And then the baby came out. And when I say he, in my heart, it was a boy. I asked the doctor to see what the gender was. We were gonna do that on October 20th at my next appointment. And so when the baby came out, it happened in slow motion. I was sitting in the toilet, you know, with my legs open, looking at what the hell was going on, trying to process what the hell was going on. Trying to accept the fact that I was having a fucking miscarriage, something I've never gone through in my entire life. You hear stories, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, God damn, this is happening. What the fuck is going on? Pardon my French. And then the baby came out, and it floated to the bottom of the toilet, and I was like, what? I saw the head and the fingers, the legs, the toes. I saw the head. I couldn't see the baby's face. I just like scanned the baby from top to bottom, and I was staring at it. And then I kept clotting, and more blood came out. And so I couldn't really see the baby as much as I wanted to because everything was coming out of me. I screamed for the kids to get my husband. He came in. We closed the door, and I cried. And I was like, that's the baby. That's the baby. Do you see the baby? That's the baby. I was like, we gotta go to the hospital. We gotta go. And when I thought, which seemed like forever, to finally go in the toilet and grab the baby, I mistakenly flushed because I was just like, I don't know how the hell I was positioned, but I flushed, and the baby was there in a minute or a minute ago, and then the baby wasn't. And so in my head, I was already trying to tell myself that wasn't what I saw. It wasn't what I saw we're going to the emergency room, and I started praying that hopefully I did have a baby inside of me. And I didn't see what I thought I saw, but I was in denial. And so we got to the hospital. My mother-in-law was there to get the kids. I went into the ER crying uncontrollably. They put me in a wheelchair, checked me in. I was in the freaking chair for maybe almost 45 minutes, and I was so angry. I was angry because I was still bleeding. We had a towel from home. My husband put it under me. I was getting contractions, which is what I call period cramps, because that's what they feel like. They were lasting for a minute, and I was getting them every minute. And that's at that point, whenever, if you've gone through birth, if you're gonna go through birth, when they last for a minute and they are a minute apart, you are in labor, baby's about to come out. But at this point in time, I was thinking my placenta, like more stuff is gonna come out. Like, I don't know what else is gonna come out. I don't know what it's gonna look like. And so I was just angry that they had me sitting there, and I told my husband, I was like, yo, get me in a damn room. Like, I'm in pain, something's coming, I'm bleeding, I shouldn't be sitting in a damn wheelchair in the ER. And I understand that everyone in the ER has an emergency, but for me, I was just thinking like, I'm about to bleed out and something else is gonna come out. I should be in a labor and delivery room, or in a room, period. And so they grabbed me, they put me in a room, they asked me what happened, I told them what happened. And then I had to wait to get an ultrasound. And I was upset because for me, they moved too slow. I should have been in the freaking, ultrasound tech room within like at least 20 minutes. See where's the baby, see how you're doing, see what's going on. But I feel like they knew. I feel like they knew, and they didn't want to tell me. And even though I knew, I didn't want to accept it. After a couple of hours, it seems, I went into the ultrasound room. The ultrasound tech did my ultrasound. Some time has passed. Fed my daughter, put her to sleep. I ate. The ultrasound experience was very painful. I kept having contractions. Unfortunately, and to my surprise, the ultrasound tech continued to scan and move the probe inside of me while I was having contractions. I understand that everyone has a job to do, but I also felt like she could have been a little bit more sensitive to the fact that I was having a contraction, and she didn't stop it. And for me, I have a very high pain tolerance. And by the end of it, for me to cry because of the pain that I was caused during that ultrasound made the experience completely horrible, painful. Moving along. After that was done, we went back to the room and we were there for a couple of hours. I kept coming in and out of sleep. I didn't dream of anything. I'm a dreamer, so I'm always dreaming, but I didn't dream about anything. It was just, I kept waking up and still being in the same place. And for me, it was very difficult because I was trying to process where I am and having hope. I still had hope that baby was inside of me. I had hope that I was still, seeing things, and I didn't see what I saw. And I kept falling asleep, but I kept being woken up because my vitals needed to be checked, etc., etc. And it's just like, it was just like it is after you have a baby, because after you have a baby, they don't really let you rest. They're constantly waking you up, constantly checking your vitals, constantly checking on baby, constantly doing a whole bunch of stuff. And so the whole experience was horrible. It wasn't until maybe about almost 5-ish that we got the results. And the doctor came in and the doctor said that there wasn't anything in me. I was like, what about the baby? And he just shook his head, right? And it's like, for me, you know, I'm still processing it, right? And it's like, if the doctor says there's nothing in there, then that means the baby's not in there. But for me to still ask, it's like, I still had just, I was hoping that wasn't the case. And so I cried a lot. Me and my husband talked about it. It's different for us because we've never experienced that before. And it was talking about our feelings, and it was talking about how we felt during the pregnancy and the energy that we had during the pregnancy, or what I was dealing with during the pregnancy. And I just felt a bunch of guilt and frustration and just disappointment. And I didn't want to talk to God. I wasn't ready to ask why and any of these questions. I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to. And I just needed time, and I wasn't ready at that moment. And so I was wheelchaired out into my vehicle. My husband stopped by my in-laws' house and picked up the kids, and my second oldest was like, is the baby okay? And I just said no. She had asked again, and I said, can we talk about it when we get home? And she said yes. So that day, that Monday, the kids didn't go to school. They were tired. They were up all night, being woken up and all that mess. And we eventually talked about it, and they didn't really know how to feel or how to process it. And so that's still there. But we all spoke as a family, and I told them that, you know, that I'm going to be sad and I have to heal, you know, physically. And since then, it's just the feelings and emotions, they come in waves. And I remember I wasn't driving. My husband was driving us to my first OB appointment 2 days after I left the ER. And it hit me, you know, thinking about the fact that I'm going to the OB doctor and I'm not going for an appointment, and I'm going for a follow-up to this miscarriage that happened to us. And I cried, and we got to the OB office, and I went into the doctor's office, and I had to walk right out. I sat down for like a second, saw those around me pregnant and a grandma holding a newborn, and I could not deal with that. And I walked out, and I went to the lobby, and I needed to breathe, and I needed to just, you know, gather myself for a little bit. I didn't break down, but just the wave of emotion and just, you know, dealing with the loss, it was a lot for me. And so I walked out, and then eventually I walked back in. But even when I walked back in, I was just trying to just focus on something else that wasn't being in that moment. And I was just shaking my leg and, you know, just trying to like mentally just go somewhere else. And after that appointment was done, had some blood work done, and my doc scheduled me for an ultrasound to see if there was anything inside me still. There is a little bit, so I'm hoping that come Monday, my blood results are at a lower level than they were when I had them on, I believe it was Tuesday. And if they are, then I won't need surgery to remove the rest of what's inside, and hopefully everything else that's in me can just flow on out these next couple of days so I don't have to go into surgery. So physically, it's challenging because even though I didn't physically give birth to an 8-pound baby, my body is very weak. I can't stand for a very long period of time a few minutes at the most, and then I start cramping, and cramping bad to where I gotta like slouch over, you know what I mean? So there are periods of time where I have a little burst of energy and I can go upstairs and start a load of laundry or make my bed. You know, I have those moments, but for the most part, I'm very weak. I can't walk for a long period of time. I need to sit down. And so I've just been resting. Mentally, I'm still going through it. I'm trying to accept the fact that I don't have a lot of time to just sit and grieve. Time is moving, time continues, and unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of just staying home for weeks or a month. I have to get back to work, and my kids are living and running around, and you know, they don't really understand all the way. They understand there was a loss, but they don't really understand the magnitude and all the intricate layers that you know, actually holds. And so I have to show up for them. They understand when I'm sad. I explain that to them. They get it. They give me a hug. They give me love. They cuddle with me. They give my husband love. They cuddle with him. And so at the end of the day, I still have to continue being a mom. And mentally, when those emotions come, I sit with it. I cry. You know, but also mentally, which also plays into my spiritual state of mind. God is the one who's strengthening me. I am able to look at my situation and understand the negative, but I look for the positive. I didn't pass away. I didn't bleed out. I haven't needed surgery. I'm not trying to say that what I went through wasn't traumatic and impactful, but I'm going to say that if you look at the bigger picture in life, I'm alive. I'm breathing. I can think. I can talk. I can move. Maybe not. You okay, baby goat? Okay. I'm not where I used to be, but I know in a matter of time, I will be. And so I'm grateful for what I have, for my home, for my husband, for my living kids. I'm grateful for the fact that I know that I can get through this. And so having faith and knowing that everything happens for a reason, it can be so hard to accept that, but at the end of the day, that's what's keeping me going. I know that everything happens for a reason, and if the reason was because I have to share my testimony and how I'm dealing with it and how I'm coping and how I'm going to work less than 2 weeks after this happening, and just being able to go into it, not into a depressive state, but into I'm accepting my circumstance. I'm accepting what happened. I'm looking at the positive. I'm going to grieve. I'm going to accept the waves of emotions that come my way when they come, but I'm going to continue to move forward. That's where I'm at. And as I said, God is the one strengthening me. I'm going to continue to pray and ask for those answers as to why it happened, and if there was anything that I could have done different, or what's the real lesson to learn here? Am I supposed to have a fifth child? Am I not? Is this just to show me that he will give me what my heart's desired, but also tell me that possibly he can't? I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. I don't know what those answers are, but I'm in a better place because I can ask him. I rest at peace knowing that the baby is in heaven and that she's an angel up there, you know, watching us, and we'll reunite one day, you know? And so me deciding to look for the positive and walk in faith is not putting all my emotions to the side. It's not disregarding it. It's knowing that I have something that I will never forget, and I will grieve and mourn and all of those things. But it's choosing God overall, and knowing that what He allows me to go through is not there to completely break me. And I'm strong. I'm living. This experience is not for the weak. And I know I'm not alone in dealing with this. I hope that this video, if you're going through it, if you just lost your child, I'm sorry. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And as much as you may feel like you just want to be depressed and do nothing and fall into that deep, dark, sunken hole, just know that that hole is so hard to get out of. It's so hard. I've been there a couple times in my lifetime, and that's one of the places I don't want to return to. Full of doubt and depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts and all that's negative. As much as anyone going through a loss may want to go there, it's not worth it. Time is not going to stop. Life is not going to stop. It's important to pray. It's important to know that you may not get the answers that you're seeking. It's important to know that things are going to happen to you in life that you may not understand, but it's all a part of God's plan. And He may not reveal it to you. You may never know, why it's a part of His plan. But if you just walk in faith, knowing that He got you no matter what, and He's going to continue to bless you and be there for you, there's comfort there. There's peace there. I'm going to do my best to get into a routine where I can carve out space to mourn and grieve and just sit with my emotions. I have a healing journal, and I started it back in July. And this is another aspect that I will add onto my healing journal, because I do feel like you have to take some action when it comes to healing. You can't just leave it there. You have to sit with it. It's reality. You have to grab it, hold it, put it on paper, release it. You have to come to terms with what is hurting you or causing you pain in any which way. And you have to heal. For me, it's important, and I'm very grateful to have a support system that can allow me to see the other options, to not just sitting there, saying, hey, you're loved and you're appreciated, and just talk to God and, try to see what He wants you to do next. And for me, He's been speaking to me for a very long time, and He wants me to do certain things. And one of those things is to share my testimony. And I haven't been sharing my testimony. I haven't even been online much. I know I'm not alone. And so talking about it helps. So I hope that whoever watches this video can just know that you're not alone, and you can find strength in God, and you don't have to go into depression. It's important to feel your feelings and have moments with them. I will never forget my baby, and I will keep the memory alive, and I am not going to just bury it. God will strengthen me. He will strengthen my family. But I've been through so much, and I've come back from so much, that I refuse to let anything, even something as big and traumatic and hurtful as what we've experienced, keep me down. The reason I have all that outlook is because God has always been there to get me through. I don't know how long it's going to take to heal from what we've gone through, But I know that with all my past experiences, God has gotten me through every single time. He's been there every single time. He's blessed me and everyone I know every single time, despite being angry with him, despite not going to him first. But at the end of the day, God has always been my foundation. And through all my life's trials and tribulations and experiences and things that has happened because of my doing and not relinquishing control to him, he's always been there when I come back. And so what I found is that with every single experience and situation that I've been through, whenever I have him in the forefront, when I read my daily devotionals, when I let him guide me, when I let his word guide me, I'm at peace. And I know everything is always going to be all right and work out in my favor. Even when there is nothing in front of me showing me that it will, he always comes through. And so I will continue to seek the lesson in this experience, but overall, it's all because of him. Life isn't over. So peace, love, positive vibes, and let's keep moving forward.